This is why you can't find any motivated sellers. Truth is, guys, most of you are absolutely looking in the wrong places. If you truly want to fix it, watch this video. So let me start out with one of the most fundamental rules of wholesaling. And if you don't get this part, don't watch the rest of the video because it's not going to make sense to you. You have to understand the fundamental difference of the type of seller you're looking for. Most of you are chasing people that have little to no motivation because you just think that's what you're supposed to do. So let me teach you a rule. And if you understand this and you want to learn more how to do this, I'll show you how to do it. Everybody wants to sell their house. You offer them the right price to anybody. If I offered you $5 million, you would walk from your house today, okay? Everybody wants. The problem is if you tack everybody who wants to sell your house, you don't have enough hours in the day to have all the conversations. You don't have the skill set and the tenacity to get through and do this entire qualification process. That would be like if you worked at a dealership and everybody walked through that door, you expect to sell a car. By the way, that's how dealerships operate. Don't believe me, walk in. They will hammer you. That's their job. I don't blame them. I do the same thing. We're not looking for everybody. And that is the key distinction you understand. Those are people that want to sell their house. We need to focus on people that need to sell their house. What's the difference? Everybody wants to sell their house. Just a few need to sell their house. That's it. If you understand this fundamental concept, you'll actually learn how to focus and learn how to do wholesaling. But so many guys are chasing these unicorns. You think everybody wants to do a wholesale deal. Think about this. So let's talk about the difference. If you know you're only supposed to deal with people that need to sell their house, why do you waste your time with people who want to sell your house? So let me give you a few examples of the wants and show you why you guys are looking in a lot of the wrong places. So first of all, if you go to the MLS, the multiple listing service to do wholesaling, you don't get this business. I'm not saying there's no deals in MLS, but honestly, think about this. Why do people go to a realtor and put it on MLS and pay upwards of a 6-7% commission? It's not because they just don't want to deal with it. The reality is most people list the property because they want the absolute highest dollar, and typically they want more than what the going rate is for because they want to pay for the realtor with it. So let me think about this. They want tippy top dollar and typically above to cover the realtor's fee, and you want a massive discount on the property. Like, no wonder we have a Hatfield-McCoy realtor versus wholesaler fight. Like, we have no business going in there. And most people who go on the MLS, you try this trickery game, and most of you are lying to people. You're not telling them you're signing it. You're not telling them who's going to be the buyer. And this is why we have this ridiculous tension in our business. And I don't like it. There are deals in MLS, but once it's put on MLS in the first day, 2 week, 30 days, 60 or 90 days, why do you bother with these people? Like, you're going to have to call 1,000 people and you're going to have to go through a realtor. And these are what we call on-market properties. And so in my opinion, on-market properties are people who want to sell a house. There's some people that need to sell their house, but they're so hidden. You're going to have to do so much work. You're probably going to burn out from wholesaling because this isn't wholesaling. I want you to think about it. Okay, so I can go to the MLS. It's really cool. You can go online. You can even do this through Zillow and find the properties. I can find the seller's name. I have their phone number. I got pictures of the property. Boy, this is really cool. This is easy. Oh my God, I got their phone number. I don't have to skip trace. So then somebody offers a service like, I'll teach you how to wholesale on the MLS. Now, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. But if you're grabbing fresh listings on the MLS because you think it's super easy, and by God it is, think about this. Everything's there. This is so easy. I've got 5,000 leads. I'm going to kill it. And usually about a month or two into it, usually around month 3, you're like, I'm not getting anywhere. I can't get and the ones I put under contract, the realtor beats me up so bad. They only want a 3 or 7 day inspection period. You know you need longer than that. And what the reality is, everything's super easy up front. So I'm gonna do a little analogy here. When I used to play football, I used to be a defensive lineman. And so you don't need to know anything about football. You just need to understand this analogy. When the offensive line, when 2 guards would pull out of the way, they would let the lineman come through. And I remember thinking, I go, my God, like quarterback's right there. I'm gonna sack him. This is so easy. And as I'm coming in, it's a pulling guard. So the offensive lineman would side blind me and it hurt. It was terrible. And I'm like, because it was a trick. They wanted me to go in that hole so they could run me over. And you're falling for the exact same thing. Why? Because it seems super easy. Everything's there. Phone number, pictures, ask price, piece of cake. The reality is the realtor doesn't understand wholesaling. They've told wholesaling is really bad and they're going to protect their client against you. Even if you get one under contract, like a lot of times you only have 7 or 10 day inspection, it's brutally hard, especially if you're a beginner wholesaler. You don't really have a great cash buyers list. You didn't do your homework. You overpaid for the property and you could get yourself in big legal trouble. They're going to hold you accountable for these contracts. And if you don't have a plan to get this done and you don't know what you're doing, it's going to be super hard in the end. You're not going to be able to sell sell it. You're gonna have to unwind a deal. The realtor's gonna be all over you. You're gonna burn your bridge with that realtor. You're never gonna be able to do business with them, and you do it over and over again. Here's the reality, guys. Most of you've been tricked, okay? You're attacking people that wanna sell their house. You need to learn how to focus on people that need to sell their house. Let me give you another example. If you bought into a system and your only job is to try to connect with wholesalers that have good deals, and then you have this 5,000 member cash buyers list and you wanna hook everyone up, but the reality is you wanna obligate everybody out there, and you're probably gonna come through less than 10% of the time. And a lot of people get screwed in these deals. You wind up, so you took a dispositions course, or I don't know what they call it, the Dispo King or whatever. It's just a fancy word. Is you're a realtor. That's not wholesaling. So you want someone to pay more than what a new wholesaler put it under contract for, that typically overpaid for it, and you want them to pay above that. So now you got to make 500 phone calls yourself, and then you're not even direct to the seller, and now you're going to do dispo. Guys, you need a license to do that. Like, this is why we have this Hatfield McCoy thing going on with realtors. Like, honestly, I only teach good fundamentals of wholesaling. And here's the fundamentals, guys. You need to focus on people that need to sell their house and stop wasting your time that people want to sell your house. And if you're doing the latter part, the want, you are frustrated and you can't find motivated sellers because you're looking in the wrong places. So let's talk about how to find motivated sellers. We already know what the problem is. So we need to focus on people that need to sell their house. What's the fastest way to do it? Especially as a new wholesaler, I want you to attack the government list. Now, if you don't know how to do this, go over to freewholesaling.com, and I teach it in grave detail there along with my son, Zach. So what are government lists? They're going to be probates, code violations, evictions, pre-foreclosures, water shutoffs, fire damage, arrest records, teach you how to go see bail bondsmen. So don't kid yourself, because these lists are free, they don't get a lot of attention from the gurus because they don't think they can make money with them. But these are the hardcore lists to find the highest motivation for someone that needs to sell their house. Everyone needs to sell their house on the list, but where there's smoke, there's fire. And I've coined this phrase. I want you to understand this. These lists, you're going to get resistance. You overcome resistance with persistence. I'm going to repeat that. You overcome resistance with persistence. I teach you how to do that. You have to be nice to people. You got to understand you just don't take a no. I teach you how to overcome 2 objections. And if you can keep asking for what you actually want, you got a great shot to get it. It doesn't mean you're going to get it every time. It doesn't mean you're going to get every list you request. But if you ask for 6 lists and you get 3, you're well on your way to finding a motivated seller that needs to sell their house. So here's the other distinct advantage you need to understand. So earlier in this video, I talked about people who want to sell their house. If you're going to go through a realtor, MLS, if you're going to try to be the Dispo King and hook people up with your cash buyers list because you took this course, that's fine, but that's not really wholesaling. I'm sorry. It's the truth. Call it whatever you want. Make up whatever your name. It's not wholesaling. You need to find off-market properties, and you want to be direct to the seller, okay? Yes, you can daisy chain. And by the way, I love to do JV agreements, but I like authentic, organic JV agreements. 2 people that pair up, one's got a great cash buyers list, one's got a great deal, and they put it together. I don't want you pairing up with a franchise that their only mission is to go out and find cash buyers for you. Honestly, that's kind of a realtor service. Now, some of them are legit, some of them make it work, but for the most part, they're going to obligate everybody, and what, 10, 15% of them are going to work out. To me, I don't like that business plan. So other ways, past government lists. How can I find off-market properties for people who need to sell their house? Go out and put out bandit signs. Make sure it's allowed and it is legal in your county or your city. I don't want you going out putting out stuff where you're not welcome. But bandit signs, I teach you how to do digital bandit signs at freewholesaling.com. It takes effort, but guys, listen, you need to find people that need to sell their house. I teach you how to network. First and foremost, with your title companies, they know everybody in the business. They know who the closers are, they know who has the cash, and they know when deals fall apart. And if you're reliable and you do great wholesale deals, you should be first in line when a deal falls apart. Contact probate lawyers, work with people, network, go to your local RIA events. That's short for Real Estate Investor Association. Why? I don't want you to buy the crap there. Like, honestly, you got to avoid it, but the true networking happens before and after the event. There's people just like you that are trying to get started in wholesaling, and why not network? And that's a great place to find a JV partner for an off-market property for someone that needs to sell their house that you two can work together and both make money on. You see, I've identified the difference between want and need, on-market properties and off-market properties. And if you can get that clear distinction, you are well on your way to be a highly qualified wholesaler. But if you have the wrong training and you keep looking in places where there's very few motivated sellers, listen, there are hidden deals on the MLS, but when they're expired or they get months and months of traffic, but you still have to go through the realtor, you still have to figure out how you're going to wholesale it, and most importantly, you have to figure out how to tell the people the truth, because if you're going to disguise it and deceive people, people. I don't like that program, and that is not wholesaling. So here's the truth of it. Let me sum it up. If you do it the first part of the way where everything seems super easy. I'm like, I got the phone number, I didn't have to skip trace it, I didn't have to do any work, I got pictures, I know what they want, I know the seller's name. If it seems easy, I want you to understand you're most likely going to have a really hard time at the end of that transaction. What's the end of it? When you go to present it to your cash buyers, they start laughing at you like, what are you, crazy? I can't close that quick. Your price is too high. You have no time to adjust your price, and often you have to put up large EMD deposits, and honestly, you have to work through a realtor that's already been trained to not work with wholesalers. So here's the truth, guys. You need to do it the other way around, okay? So we're not gonna do people want, we're gonna do people that need. We're gonna focus not on on-market properties, we're gonna focus on off-market properties, and I'm gonna teach you how to find the lists, particularly government lists, that are going to have the best shot for you to find a motivated seller. And I've already told you, it's gonna be a little bit difficult up front. You're gonna get resistance in getting a list. You're gonna have hard conversations with your seller to get these properties under the right contract. But here's the really cool part. If you do the hard part first, the second part of the transaction is easy, it's profitable, and you'll always want to repeat it. How many times have we done something that's like, oh my gosh, that's so easy? And then you get into it and you wind up doing the worst way to do it, and you're more frustrated than you ever started out. If you do the hard work up front, you find the right type of motivated sellers, you have the conversations, you chase the list down, you exhaust all your resources. Once you get under contract, it's usually the easiest thing in the world to sell. If you go the easy way, feels good up front, right? And you know what happens when things feel real good up front? It's usually very painful at the end. You've got a choice to make here. It's completely up to you. Listen, wholesaling is the single greatest skill set you can learn in real estate investing. I've already proven it time after time. Think about it. The fix and flipper can't do what you do as a wholesaler. The landlord can't do what you do. The realtor definitely can't do it. If they could, they would. You know what? They lack the discipline. They've never deep dived to really take the initiative to connect with people that just need to sell their house. They take the easy route. They deal with the people that want. And when you deal with the want, you got to deal with the market. And you are not in control of the market. When you deal with wholesaling, you're in control of everything. And that is the key difference. Listen, if you want to keep taking the easy route and fooling yourself, keep doing it. There's a million gurus that will constantly tell you this is the greatest way. And 9 times out of 10, they got a course behind it to sell it. And I'm not completely against courses. I just don't like how a lot of them are marketed. The reality is, if you will just commit and go get the most motivated sellers list and put up with the resistance and overcome it with persistence, have the hard conversations with the seller, build amazing conversations, dude, the rest of wholesaling is easy. But you're gonna have to do the work. There is no shortcut. I don't have that quick fix pill for you. I'm not the guy for it. And honestly, I'm here to give you the truth. If you truly want to learn how to do wholesaling, go over to freewholesaling.com. It's a free course me and my son's created. It will not only get you started on your first deal, I'll teach you how to make your first 100 grand. And honestly, if you want to develop a relationship after me, I would love to do that. But most people fail right at this intersection because they don't understand what they're even looking for. Do the hard work up front. Find the motivated sellers that need to sell their house for off-market properties. And wholesaling is a lot of fun. Not only is it going to point you to financial freedom, and you'll get freedom of your time and to do the things you truly are meant to do in life. So guys, if you got value from this video, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe notification button to continue to receive the absolute truth on wholesaling. I'll see you in the next video, guys. This is Rick Ginn.